What's going on, guys? It's Tyler here. Before we get into the podcast, just wanted to quickly tell you guys that this was supposed to be a video podcast, and we actually recorded it with our webcams and everything. But we had issues with the video; it got choppy, so we're going just audio this time around. But yeah, the podcast is up and running, and we are good to go. So enjoy listening, and thank you guys so much for your support. Enjoy. What's up, Kings fans? It's Tyler here, or Tap2K, whatever you want to call me. And I'm here with a co-host on the channel now, on the podcast. Introduce yourself.
Yo, what up, everybody? This is Skip and Tosh, a.k.a. Skip. Here repping the Sactown Breakdown. Going to break down some fun Kings news with my boy Tap. Y'all thought y'all just had to deal with Tap, but now you got to deal with two of us.
Yeah. So we linked up, and he's going to be a co-host. He's going to have access to the channel. He's going to be like, this is going to be a two-man thing. This ain't just me anymore. So whether you like it or not, he's here. So get used to it. But today we're going to be talking about, and this is, I guess, our first podcast, Sactown Breakdown podcast.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about here and there, like giving breakdowns of games or, news here and there. But this is our first like video or podcast format. So today we're going to be talking about the California Classic wrap up. He went to all three games. I went to just one, and I've watched the first game. I went to the second game. I didn't see the third game, but he went to all three. So we're going to go ahead and just talk about kind of some summer league stuff, wrap up the California Classic, the players we liked, what we saw from different players, and maybe briefly talk about some stuff with the main roster, like free agency and, roster spots they have left and everything. So I guess I'll start with you, Skip, just because you were at the first game. Kyle Guy, he started off with 2 turnovers at the very beginning of the game, and he didn't look very promising. But, I mean, so far, the rest of summer league, he's looked good. What do you think about Kyle Guy?
I was now obviously this is our first impression of him outside of college in a let's call it semi NBA setting. So to start off with the 2 turnovers, I was trying not to hold that against him too much.
Yeah,
we kind of knew his calling card was to shoot, so that's really what I was trying to keep my eye on. And I mean, it's when new guys come in, it's exciting. And, you're stuck between wanting to get excited for them and for your team, acquiring something that you need, like shooting, but you also don't want to fall for the okie doke and be like, okay, he had one good game and then he fell off real fast. Yo, the boy is a shooter. He's a certified shooter, Tap. I can give him that, man. His form looks nice. I feel like he knows his spots. Of course, him getting to his spots is going to be a combination of him getting a little bit bigger and stronger so he can kind of push his way to certain places. And then, of course, him playing with the point guard that knows him better. It's a summer league squad. They cram, inside of a summer camp, a summer league camp, and then they play. So, but man, he's looking like a shooter, bro. What was kind of some of your impressions of Kyle Guy?
Well, for me, when I look at Kyle Guy, he's a shooter. He can shoot. His stroke looks nice, which Jimmer Fredette had a nice shooting stroke. Ben McLemore had a nice shooting stroke. Nick Stauskas looked pretty good.
Right.
So let's not get carried away here.
Right.
But, when I look at him, it's like, for me, he just needs to come off of screens. He needs to let Dedmon, if you say he's on the main roster, he needs to let Dwayne Dedmon set screens. He needs to come off screens just like JJ Redick and shoot threes. Yep. Anything else he does, ball handling, driving to the basket, that's all just a cherry on top for me. It's like, not to bring back old stuff, but Willie, he could block shots and rebound, but he didn't want to do that. He wanted to do a bunch of other stuff. He didn't know his place on the team in the offense. Right. If Kyle Guy can know his place and just come off screens and shoot threes and make them JJ Redick, Kyle Korver type, then anything else he does in terms of finishing, anything else, it's just a cherry on top for me. I really liked his shooting stroke. I like he has like some tenacity when he plays. He gets like, he's like kind of fired up, and overall, I mean, like you said, and we talked about this when we met each other at game two. Steph Curry struggles with getting his own shot because he's not very physical.
Right.
And Kyle Guy's, kind of like a skinny white guy. So how physical is he really going to be, And he might have some of those same problems. But I guess someone like a JJ Redick, he doesn't have those problems because he's never trying to go outside of just being a sharpshooter. So it just kind of depends on, what Kyle Guy does. But in terms of how he played in the California Classic, he was like carrying the team most games. And I really enjoyed, he had, look at his game 3 stats real quick. Let me pull that up.
Yeah.
Box score. He shot, I think, 5 of 17 game 3, or maybe that's game 2. Let me look. Kyle Guy. He was 5 of 17 game 3, and I watched the highlights of that, and he was 4 of 9 from 3. So he was jacking up threes, and of the 9 threes, 4 of them went in. That's almost 50%. And I'm sure not everyone's going to have a great game, but Kyle Guy, in terms of like 3-point shooting, I think he's the real deal, especially considering like guys come from the Euro League, and they the 3-point line's closer, so it's like when a European player comes over, like Bogdan, we didn't know if he'd be able to shoot threes because it'd be farther back. Kyle Guy's shooting threes from NBA range. Yep. He's hitting them. So absolutely. I'm like, I'll take it.
And that's what I like too, because you brought up the point, of talking about Steph. Like Steph's release has to be fast because, like you said, he's not physical. He's got to use his handle, or he's just got to fling that thing real quick to get the shot off. And when you're picking talent in the second round, like Kyle Guy and and like Justin James, who we'll mention a little bit later, and even Vanya, who was our last pick, you're almost hoping that they really just have one solid basketball skill, right?
Yeah.
Like if they could just rebound like crazy, if they can just block shots like crazy, if they can just shoot. Kyle Guy has that. And to your point about JJ Redick, if he builds up the frame a little bit, he's not going to be able to pack tons of muscle on that thing. But if he can get a little bit stronger and give a little bit more of a bump and know his spots and have a point guard that gets him to his spots, if he can just hit open shots in the second unit, especially corner threes, that's all we can ask for. And I like you said, 9 attempts. That's confidence. That shows you he's confidently. He didn't take those 9 attempts. They weren't 9 chucks. He's confident in his shot. He knows who he is, and now it's just a matter of him finding out how he can be the best version of who he is in the NBA. So if you can figure that out, man, at the very least we got a shooter. And hey, out of 3 picks, if you get 1 out of 3 picks right, let alone in the second round, buy your scouting department a steak dinner. You know what I mean?
And it's funny too, because I mean, like these players these days that just have one basketball skill, even if you just look at like JJ Redick, what did he get paid by the Sixers last year? It was like 1 year, $20 million.
Yeah, it was like 20 million, something like that for 1 year, man, just to shoot.
Yeah, exactly. 17-18, 1 year, $23 million. And then 18-19, he got, I think, 1 year, $12 million, and then he goes and signs with the Pelicans, 2 years, $26. It's like, if you have one basketball skill these days, that's all you need. Kyle Guy can get paid just based off of his shooting if that's all he does, and he focuses on getting more physical, and I mean it's easy money for him.
Right, and
he's shown he can make the shot.
Yeah, and then think about this, because like as we go deeper into the inner workings of the NBA, we think about practice and practice mates, you know what I mean? And even how some guys get hired, to be on the practice squad just so your starters have some decent talent to have run against. Well, who's the guy who's going to be shooting against? He's going to be shooting against Buddy Hield, one of the other best 3-point shooters in the league. So if you got a guy that you want to compete with against in practice to make you better, you can only ask for a few better ones, and one of them got a torn ACL. So Buddy Hield and Kyle Guy going back and forth in practice is going to be fun, and man, that they're going to sharpen each other's sword, man. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. So moving on, I guess the second best player was Wayne Gabriel. I mean, really, it was just to see my Kyle Guy, Wayne Gabriel, and everybody else is a step below. Wayne Gabriel, man, if he can put it all together, I think he's going to be so good. I mean, he's 6'9", and like we were talking about this before we started, his he was pretty skinny last year,
Yeah.
and this year it's just like he did like triceps and bicep workouts. It's
Right.
like his arms are huge, but he's still got like skinny legs,
All
and
chest,
it's
no
like,
legs.
yep, and it's like, come on, I don't know, and I'm sure he'll figure it out. But if he can figure it out, like body wise, and if he can get that all, you know, put together, I like his skill set. He can shoot sometimes. Sometimes his shot looks really good. Sometimes it's just like off the backboard or whatever. But
Right.
you know, I like he has very good touch around the rim. He was rebounding on these summer league dudes like it was nothing.
Yep.
And he has touch around the rim. He has some finesse, which is something, like Willie didn't have. Willie didn't have finesse around the rim, and that's like the only thing I can. And I don't want to bag on Willie, but it's just he didn't have finesse around the rim. He didn't.
Right.
And
Right.
I mean, Wayne Gabriel has more finesse around the rim to me than Willie ever did, and that's crazy to me because I think Willie had so much potential, and he still does. But
Yeah.
anyways, not Willie. Wayne Gabriel, he has finesse. He has touch around the rim, and he can shoot it a little bit. His jump shot sometimes looks weird. Like you can tell right when Gabriel shoots if it's on or if it's off. It's like not even a question.
Pretty much.
But I mean everything he does, like he can drive. He has some nice dunks. Like he could be like to me he seems like your average 3-and-D guy that could give you 15 minutes off the bench for it if he puts it all together. That's
Right, yeah.
and he that's what he would be to me if in a perfect scenario for him, but who knows if that'll ever happen.
I see what you see. Kind of like a guy who, a 3-and-D a corner 3-and-D
Yes.
prospect who can put his back to the basket. I noticed his footwork got better from last year. And his confidence did too, because that was
Yeah.
something that I saw that like when I saw his body. After we had drafted him, I was like, okay, he can get bigger, but like he's got a good base to start with.
Yeah.
But he kind of didn't have the best equilibrium. I felt, his footwork was a little shoddy,
Like a high
and I was
center
like, man,
gravity.
he can't get in spots to rebound well enough, and he can't get close enough to the basket because he's not strong enough. Luckily, he went down to the G League and got his confidence up. But that's what I see. Like, he definitely worked on his upper body a lot, and I think he skipped leg day quite a bit. But I see that he's looking like more of like an overall type 3-and-D dude. I think maybe if he keeps going, he'll be able to kind of be like a solid bench, maybe like seventh guy off the bench, type dude, maybe in his prime, who can put his back to the basket, but if you need him to hit a three, just make sure he's in the corner, just because that jumper is, it's a little unpredictable. If he can nail it in a little bit better, that'd do well for him. But I kind of see what you see. But the main thing with him, because I think if he doesn't get confidence, he's not going to be much of anything at all. So just the main fact that he did work on his body, do a little bit more squats but keep that confidence up. And hey, when you get your number called, be ready, because I got a feeling at one point during the season the Kings are going to call him up just to see what he's made of. But yeah, man, and the other second thing, like you said, is you could just tell that this was definitely his second year. Or any first year guys, or any guys that might have been overseas and not going up against like current NBA talent.
Yeah.
He was definitely taking advantage of them.
For sure, 100%. And it's funny, like one of his 3-pointers, I don't remember which game it was. It might have been because he didn't play game 2, so I think it was game 3, where he had a 3-pointer that he shot it from the top of the arc, and you could totally tell he missed it, but it hit the backboard, went in.
Yeah.
And
Big shot.
it's like if I was playing with my dad, he'd be like, "Are you going to take that shot?" He'd be like, my dad would be like, "It's some BS." He's like, "You just missed that and it went in." It's kind of remind me of. But I mean, if he, and there's so many good shooting coaches, and as far as I'm concerned, Buddy Hield could be his shooting coach. I mean, Buddy Hield's got such a silky smooth jumper.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's so many shooting coaches that could fix a jump shot. No, I mean, it's not. If it was like a Michael Kidd-Gilchrist jump shot, then that's another story.
Oh gosh.
But I mean,
that ugly thing.
It's not.
I always tell a joke. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist jump shot, it like looks like a folding chair, like we did like a lawn chair.
It does. Oh my God, I never thought of that before.
It's so
Oh,
bad. But I mean, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, heck, even if Peja Stojakovic wants to take off his GM shoes and put on
mhm.
some basketball shoes, he can, show Winion a few things. Keep your elbows straight, follow
Yeah.
through, leave it up. So it's true. I mean, and like you're saying, Tap, if he wants to. And if he really seeks it out, he will get with the shooting coach because there's no shortage of him, and he'll get it ironed out, and that's totally up to him. But and 1 year in the league, this being his second year, if we're not expecting the world of him, I would say, it sounds like you agree, he made enough significant progress this year around to see that he's taken the next step, and he just needs to keep that stride throughout the rest of the season when he's down in the G League, but especially when we call him up, or maybe even if another team calls him up.
Yeah, 100%. So I like Wayne Gabriel a lot, and I'm excited for him. I'm excited for Kyle Guy, and I guess really the last guy that's worth mentioning. And by the way, game two was Vanya sitting next to Bogdan, or is that some?
Yeah, so that was Vanya. Vanya's already out here. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I was like, I didn't know if that was just like some random like for all I know, I mean it could just be his brother or something, they all it's like it seems like all the European guys look the same. They all have like the exact same haircut and the
This
exact
was gonna say super, like he's got the bogey cut. He's
yeah.
got like all that, dude. Even
And he
they
plays
even
just
if you
like
go and
Bogey
look
too.
at, yeah, right. They look so similar, man. But no, I did see it, and it was confirmed on Twitter. Someone got a
Yeah.
nice close up picture. That was Vanya was already there, which is weird because remember, even when we did draft him, it was like a matter of like, hey, is he even coming over this year? Like, are we even gonna have a roster spot for him? And it's funny now that because we were talking obviously a little bit before we started recording the podcast, but now that we're talking and we're mentioning it, Vanya coming out here
That's
already. Like,
big.
remember, even when the Suns had drafted Bogey and they had Bogey's draft rights, Bogey didn't even like think about coming out until
No.
Vlade was his GM. So, dude, Vanya's already out here. We waived Frank Mason. I know you and I were talking about a roster spot. I think they might give Vanya that other two-way and sign Winion up for the G League.
Yeah, I like Vanya. I mean, I kind of got and like we were talking about before we recorded as well that like when I watched Bogdan, I had a friend that was like, "Man, he's in the Euro League. He ain't gonna do nothing. He's gonna be terrible. He's a
Right.
bunch of soft white guys." And then Bogdan was good, and I thought Bogdan was gonna be good the first time I saw him.
Right.
Vanya seems like he's a little slower
Hmm.
than Bogdan a little bit, but
Yeah.
Vanya is. I mean, is just like Bogdan. He's like a little bit taller than Bogdan. He shoots the same. He's got passing skill. He has the big long step back like Luka Doncic, where he like it's like he jumps and then steps all the way back and then shoots it, and it's like it just looks ridiculous, but it creates the space,
Right.
So it's um I like Vanya a lot. I think he could be good. I mean, I think for them being all second, I don't remember this being this excited about some second round picks. Like Vanya, I like Vanya. I like Kyle Guy. Gabriel, he was undrafted, and we signed him last year.
Yep. Straight from
And like I've
Kentucky.
never been this excited about a bunch of basically randoms before.
Me neither. And what's funny too? I think because of a few things, because we did end up drafting so well, in a combination of because we were able to mix a very key trade or really two key trades because one kind of set up the other last season, and and because we also handled our business in free agency. All of that takes the pressure off of what we expect out of second round picks. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And then you couple that with the fact that Kyle Guy can shoot. And
Yeah.
Winion Gabriel, from last year, this year he did take a step forward. It makes it easier, man. It lightens the load, and all we have to say is, yeah, they're doing good enough. They don't have to be our saviors and have to
Yeah,
get us over
exactly.
that 33, or 34 game win
Yeah.
mark. You know what I mean?
And and I'm sure there might be some people that are thinking like, oh well, did they? I know some people might think we're saying they drafted well. Like, well, they didn't take Bull was available,
Oh gosh,
But I
right.
don't think we needed a project. Harry Giles is our project.
Harry Giles is our project, exactly, and you couldn't get a better project. Someone who was projected over De'Aaron Fox and over Jason Tatum as the number one
Hmm.
pick before he had his 2 ACL tears, and another genius move. You know, I love kind of highlighting the genius moves that we've done since, you know, from Vlade's second year on, because man, to sit up there and to split your picks, you know, like say, okay, we're not going to get, you know, we took the New Orleans pick that we got in the DeMarcus Cousins and Buddy Hill trade, which we won that trade. If that's not official, everybody can pretty much say that now.
Yep.
So, you know, we said, hey, we're going to get our Guy Fox at 5. Thank you, Suns, for drafting Josh Jackson. And then, you know, hey, it's Josh Collins, right? Or which Collins was it?
Zach Collins.
Yeah, right. Hey, our trade buddies, the Blazers. Here, we'll draft that guy for you. Give us your other 2 picks. We take Justin Jackson and we take Harry Giles. Harry Giles ends up being our project. And then Justin Jackson, we take him and Zebo and we flip him for Harrison Barnes. Ken Cantanella, thank you.
Yeah, and that's who I'm giving the credit to, Cantanella. He's the brains. I mean, Vlade's the man, but I don't know if we'd be doing this without Cantanella.
Nope,
to be honest. And by the way, just a quick little side note, where did that picture of Vlade with the shotgun that everybody throws around Twitter, getting out of the Suburban or whatever it is, or the Escalade, where did that come from?
Dude, actually, I have not seen that picture.
You've never seen that picture?
Of
Vlade with, oh, wow. Okay.
Vlade with the shotty. That seems like something that he would be doing like back home where like
I know, Vlade Divac. There's this picture that people always throw around like when something happened with Vlade Divac. They always
Vlade with a shotty.
Yeah, let me send this to you real quick just because I find a better picture of it.
I'll take it.
Okay.
Catanella, though, man. Yeah, he's been coming through with all of our picks. I mean, bolstering the whole front office, which is another thing. Bringing in Joe Dumars, which I didn't expect. I was like, who's that big black dude that's over there next to Vlade?
The
with
big
his round old milk
guy.
dud head. And then I looked and I was like, oh my gosh, Joe Dumars.
Did you say milk dud head?
Yeah, with a milk dud head. And then I look at his face and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's freaking Joe Dumars. He actually came. I thought he was just going to be like call Vlade every now and then, but he actually came out to sack.
Yeah, I was surprised. Like him, Vanya, like, because I thought that was Vanya, but I wasn't sure. But now that I know for sure it was him, I'm like, damn, they got like, I don't know. It's just, maybe we look dumb because we're just like so shocked that there's like an actual real organization that's actually doing organization things.
Right.
Like we're just shocked, But it's nice that we have something that's put together so well now, because it never used to be like that. I sent you that on Twitter, by the way. You know what? Now that I'm looking at it, it might be a movie set or something.
Hold on, let me see.
But whenever like Vlade makes a trade or something, that always gets thrown around Twitter. Like, oh, here comes Vlade.
All right, it's loading for me. Holy crap! Oh, dude, looks.
Look at the background. It might be a movie set or something. But that's like people always throw this picture around. I just think it's hilarious. Like, I figured you probably saw it, and I was asking like where it came from. But yeah, I guess you've never seen it. I'm actually shocked you haven't seen that.
Bro, I have never seen this, but hey, it's Vlade with a shotty. This might be my new lock screen.
Yeah.
Hey, that's the picture for this whole season.
Right.
Vlade with a shotty. We coming to handle business, baby.
Uh-huh. All right, so back on track. Justin James is really the last. Well, I'm going to talk about Samaj Christian too, but
yeah, let's.
Justin James first, just because he was a draft pick. I don't know. Haven't seen much. The only time I really notice Justin James on the floor is when he walks onto the court and when he walks off of it. Just being honest, I mean, maybe not everybody's good in summer league. Not everybody, some people need to be around NBA coaches and NBA trainers or whatever. Some people, but I don't know. Justin James it just doesn't really seem like much to me. I mean, he can shoot, right?
He's supposed to be able to shoot. He's supposed to be able. I mean, and his jumper doesn't look broken. I think
no, it doesn't.
With him, I think that's the difficult thing with him because he's like a shooter slasher, badumts. And when I was looking at his tape, I was like, oh, okay, he's got good size. Now, what I did is I blinked out and forgot this is college size and not NBA size guys that I'm comparing him to. So same thing with you, bro. Like as soon as he got on the court, I was like, Oh, he's scrawny.
He
Oh,
is
like
small. Did I tell you that day two? Did I
yeah,
tell
yeah.
you that when we
We
talked?
were both talking about it. We were like,
Yeah,
dude,
he's
Justin
way
James looks a
smaller.
lot smaller than he did
He
in the
he didn't look no
video.
6'7" to me.
Dude, no, I was like, once I saw him walk on the court, I was like, hold on, wait, how tall is he supposed to be? I looked down 6'7". I was
Yeah,
like, yeah,
I did the
he's a
same
good
thing.
6'5", 6'4" and a half with
Yeah.
shoes on, you know. Yeah, man, he's gonna, since his jumper is not like, he's not a true shooter like someone like a Kyle Guy is a true
Yeah.
shooter, and he doesn't have enough size yet to really show off his slashing ability. What was cool, and because I was questioning it, I was like, okay, you know, I don't see how he's gonna get it. And then one time he had a little bit of a break in the lane, and he rose up and he went up, and I was like, okay,
Hmm.
he went for it, and he showed his bounce, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, so he is the slasher. And then I immediately knew like he's gonna have to put on so much muscle. It's gonna be a little bit of a journey for him because
Hmm.
until his metabolism slows down, so he can really build up what he is key at, which I think is gonna be more slashing and a little bit of shooting. He's not gonna be able to show off until he gets bigger.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, he seems like he was drafted to be like a 3-and-D guy, and he's a lefty, right? Or
I,
no?
I don't remember off the top of my head, but I think he is.
Either way, he kind of seems like he could be like CJ Milesy. That's kind of the thing I looked at. I kind of
Right.
compared him to, and just like he could stand, can corner, shoot a three. He could
Hmm.
shoot the three at the top of the arc maybe, and have a little step back mid range, just a little here and there. But he's never gonna be great at any one thing. He's just
Right.
a scorer. He'll maybe get you 10 points, 15 points one night if you're lucky.
Right.
And you know, he's just Justin James. That's it. I mean, there's not much to say about him. And I would like him to be good. I'm not trying to hate on anybody. It's
Yeah.
just
Same.
what I see so far.
Yeah, I mean, if he ended up being the another Buddy Hield, I'd be over the moon. But if I'm talking realistically now, I want him to be better than this. But what I see right now is kind of what you said, kind of a CJ Milesy type player, maybe a little bit more in the a little bit more bounce, a little bit more of a
Yeah, more
slasher,
athletic for sure.
more athletic, but probably going to be a journeyman a little bit. Might try his hand in the G League. Might even go overseas a little bit to get some money and build up his game, and then maybe come back and come off the bench, for some kind of middle of the pack teams. He can make
Yeah.
some money in the NBA, but his main thing is going to be his body because he won't be able to show off his true talent until he's stronger.
Hmm. And then finally, the last player I had to talk about. I mean, we could quickly talk about the Micah guy. I don't remember his first name.
Oh, Micah. Yeah, I forgot his first name too. Let me see. Yeah, it's E Micah. I don't remember his first name. Yeah, that dude, man. I was like, he showed a little muscle, showed some size over everything. Like he was kind of like getting on the floor. He was getting after the ball. I liked his tenacity and his
Hmm.
confidence.
Yeah, and I mean, I think they get the second game. I think he had like 13 points, 13 rebounds or something at the end. The box score. I don't remember for sure, but that's the game I was at, and he played well. I mean, he was getting rebounds and stuff. He seems like I was talking to him before we recorded. He seems like the
Hmm.
kind of player that like is really good in the G League, and then he gets to like the real NBA, and Steven Adams like body slams him and like elbow drops him off the elbow. Steven Adams climbs up to the backboard and does an elbow drop through a flaming table
Off the
on him.
top rope.
Yeah. So it's just like, but I mean, for what he was, hey, he made the game entertaining, so I'll take it.
Yeah, definitely. He made it entertaining. I went and looked it up. You're right. It was 13 points, 14 rebounds. Um, you know, he makes the game entertaining. He's active. He gets after the ball, but you're right. He's kind of on the size-o-meter. He's right there in the middle where he's big enough to like, dominate college, G League, and like summer league talent, but right
Hmm.
there where, he would start to see some real struggles against bench talent. And then if you put
Yeah.
him against NBA starters, he'd probably be barbecue chicken. So kind of similar thing for him, right? Like if we're just wishing the best for people, he could totally make some money, Euro ball, you know what I mean? Australia, he can go ball out over there and, and if he works on his game enough, he's always going to get opportunities to come back over here during summer league and show what he got.
Hmm. And then finally, Samaj Christian. That's how you say it, right? Samaj Christian. Kristen?
I heard it so many ways. I was saying Samaj Christian. I was saying Samaj Christan, but Samaj Christian. Let's just go with that.
That sounds French.
Yeah,
Samaj Christian sounds like a wine.
it does.
Samaj Christian. So he's actually a player that, I mean, he's interesting because his shot is not good. I mean, it's like air balls clanking off the backboard, but every once in a while it goes in. But his handles are pretty good. He sometimes he gets a little carried away.
Mhm.
His playmaking is real good. He knows where to be on the floor. He knows what to do, and he's going to look better than most of the G League guys because he's gotten NBA minutes before. He's
Yeah.
been, I think, a backup for the Cavs, a backup for the Thunder. I
Mhm.
think Cavs for sure, Thunder, maybe Cavs. Um, so he's had NBA minutes before, and when you've had NBA minutes, going against G League guys and Summer League guys, you're going to look way better than them.
Yep.
So, but still, like he seemed like a decent player. I mean, his handle's nice. He has confidence. It's just if he could get, I mean, honestly, it's like if he could get a good shot, if he could have a decent jump shot, he could play backup point guard minutes, seems like to me. So I'm
Yeah,
really fascinated by him.
I agree, bro. We were talking about it. Like he was like, we came for Kyle Guy and Justin James, but I stayed for Samaj Christian. Like
Hmm.
that dude, he got out there and he reminded me very much of like kind of like a young Rondo. He was very
Yeah.
confident in his handle. He was putting English on certain passes. Like I saw his kind of vision. He was seeing guys in their spots way before they were, and he even had to
Yeah.
wait till they realized they were in the spot, and he'd like fire the ball down there on him. Yeah, that shot, it's janky. He airball. I remember when he made one. The look on his face, he was like, "Whew," because he was wide open, and they passed it to him, and he knew he couldn't pass up the shot.
Yeah.
But no, man, you're right. I looked at him. Yeah, he played for the Oklahoma City Blue, the G League team, and got some Oklahoma City Thunder minutes too. If he just works on his jumper, he totally can get like a multi-year contract. I'd even say, but where it is right now, he could still get a contract, but it's going to be like on some non-guaranteed money. Because if he's not getting it to second unit guys in their spots, and if they're knocking down knocking down shots with the
Yeah.
ability to him not be able to knock down a shot, he won't get it. But you can tell he looks like he's got big hands. He's got big eyes, and he's looking for guys, man. So it was very nice to see kind of NBA-ish caliber talent out there.
Hmm. Especially since, Frank Mason and Marvin Bagley are supposed to play or not. Maybe they just, told us that so we buy tickets.
Yeah.
But whatever. It's the NBA. They're going to do that.
Giles too,
Um,
right? Put them
yeah.
on the first. Put all three of them on the first on the first poster, and then on the second poster it's just Frank and
Bagley.
and Harry, and then after that it was like, oh yeah, Harry's got a sore hip, and I mean not Harry, no, excuse me,
It's Frank and
Harry.
Bagley.
We don't need to look at him.
Yeah.
He's healthy, but we don't need to see him play. And then for Bagley, it was like he's got a sore Achilles. You know what? And it's kind of interesting that it's an Achilles. Isn't it kind of interesting that it's a sore Achilles, and that's the whole Kevin Durant thing, and everybody's like, oh, Achilles, yeah, that's cool. Like you don't got to
Yeah.
play.
It is weird. And it's like, and didn't he have an Achilles? What did he have last year? Didn't he hurt his Achilles a little bit, or what was it?
It was a few things. He had the bone bruise from, I think that was from banging knees, but I think he ended up getting hit like in the kind of in the lower leg. So he had that bone bruise. He had a back thing. That was like the first major thing that took him out for like a few weeks or whatever, a few games.
Yeah.
And then there was one other. There was like three things, but two of them were contact, and then like one of them wasn't.
Okay. For some reason, I remember him having he maybe no, he
I
wouldn't.
think it was some sort of strain. I think you're right.
Did he?
Strain of
Okay.
some part of the lower leg. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm like, I don't know. It's like, could you just make up an injury that's? I mean, I feel like because it's definitely made up. Just make up one that's going to worry me a little less next time.
Right. Not
Give
Achilles.
me like a
Too soon.
left pinky toe bruise.
Yeah.
So
So
I'm not worried about that one.
pinky toe, he can chop that off. He don't need that. Yeah.
Did Christian play on the Cavs, by the way? Was I right? Or was
Let me
not?
see. The Cavs. If he did, it might have been for their for either their G League team or their Summer League team. Right
I
here,
thought he did. But
it's
maybe not.
Oklahoma City. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, we lie to the listeners. They don't need to know the truth anyway.
Yeah. Um, So I guess our final thing we're gonna talk about here before we go today is the final roster spot on the Kings.
Yeah.
We waived Frank Mason,
Right.
R.I.P. Frank Mason.
Yep.
I Frank Mason is interesting because I really want I he didn't get enough of a shot.
He
And
didn't.
Yogi basically complained to the coaching staff last year, like, give me a shot to play. I want minutes. And him and Frank Mason were competing for minutes. Yogi's a more of a scorer. Frank Mason more of a playmaker. And I don't think we need playmakers. We got Bogdan. We
Mm-hmm.
got De'Aaron.
Yep.
Harry Giles can run an offense in like the high post.
Yep.
He's such a good passer. It's like, Yogi is probably a better fit for the team, but I liked Frank Mason. I just wanted Frank Mason to work because I liked him. But
Me
he's
too.
gone, so hopefully he finds a new team where he can play good minutes, and I hope nothing but the best for Frank Mason.
Yeah, and I noticed that we're keeping him on the summer league team though, because when we waived him,
Yeah,
I thought we were just gonna send him goodbye, but he gave a
kind of
really
weird.
good, like really professional, like goodbye letter and everything. And even though he still hasn't played, it still keeps coming up that he's injured. But I think it is that that again that shows a turn and a shift in paradigm from the Kings organization. Like, hey, even though we got to give you up for the roster spot, 'cause business, we got to make this work. We still want to work with you. We'll leave you on the team. You still have access to the medical staff for summer
Mhm.
league, to get over that. And then, hey, we'll give you a good recommendation to other teams. Totally go be on some preseason teams and everything. And
Yeah,
then players talk about that, man. That's the kind of stuff that players talk about. And then when it's time for people to sign up and trade, they want to come to you because they know
exactly.
you treat them good.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just kind of funny to think like Frank Mason. It's like, yeah, we let you go, but you're still on the summer league team. It's like if you broke up with your girlfriend and she comes over like a month later to like go grab her clothes. It's like,
Right.
you gotta let her in, and it's like, hi. It's just I don't know. It's weird. I mean, it's a good thing. It's good that they did that. I totally
Right.
get it, but it's kind of weird to
It's
think.
awkward. It's awkward.
It seems like it would be awkward. But
Yeah.
anyways, so final roster spot. Uh, Troy Williams was a beast last year. Corey Brewer was a beast last year, and we really like Wayne and Gabriel. They
Oh
gave
yeah.
Kyle Guy a two-way contract, so Kyle
Mm.
Guy will be back and forth all year.
Hmm.
Hopefully he's not just in the G League because I think Kyle Guy is going to be a beast. And I think he's going to probably come up.
Yep.
But final roster spot. I believe I saw somewhere on Twitter they have $4.5 million in cap space. I didn't fact check that, and I
Uh-huh.
mean I don't know if it's that big of a deal that we
Hmm.
even need to. I'm just going to take someone's word for it. It was one of the Sactown royalty guys I think that said that, so I
Yep.
don't think they'd lie to us. So Troy Williams, I liked him last year. He's still in the Stockton Kings. They kind of didn't really play him much last year, towards like the last half of the year when it was time for him to either go up or go down. They sent him down in the G League.
Right.
Corey Brewer, they signed him last year, and I really liked what he brought. I mean, he
Yep.
got like dumped on his head,
Oh
and
yeah, that was crazy.
he
Oh.
just kept playing like it was nothing. I'm like, damn.
Yep. Tough
Wayne
guy.
Gabriel, he's obviously young and not developed. I don't. I think Wayne Gabriel probably shouldn't get a spot in the roster just because he's not ready for it. I mean, if
Yeah.
you give him a two-way and send him up, I'd be totally fine with that. Gabriel, it'd be a shame to see him sitting on the end of the bench for no reason. Just get him
Right.
minutes.
Right.
So really, we're coming down to Troy Williams, Corey Brewer, maybe. I mean, because we have a final roster spot, unless they just want to leave it open and see what happens.
Yeah, I'm starting to get the feeling that I'm starting to get the feeling that we're gonna give Vanya the two-way spot.
Yeah,
So he can get some run because he
I didn't
needs
even
the
think
run in
about
order to
him.
plug in.
Sorry, I
Yeah,
didn't have him written down.
yep. So I think Vanya's gonna get the other two-way spot. I think it's gonna be Vanya and Kyle Guy. For the last roster spot, um, I wouldn't mind if we kept it open, and here's
Yeah,
why. We as you kind of talked about in the free agency thing, and we can kind of bring up again, we got Dwayne Dedman, we got Corey Joseph, we went ahead and signed up, Harrison Barnes again, which was kind of expected, and Rashawn Holmes.
hmm
So we got all those players, and I'm not missing anybody, am I? I think those were the.
Deadman, you didn't say Ariza.
And
I don't
Trevor
think, did
Ariza,
you?
you're right. I did not say
Yeah.
Ariza, and we got Ariza. So we have enough. We have a balance of okay. The rookies need the minutes, and Dave Yeager's gone. So they're gonna get the minutes, and then we got a
Hopefully.
few guys that we have to, play. Like we have to play Nemanja at least a little bit for his spacing, and Rashawn Holmes. I'm sure if we need defense or rebounding, he'll come in. So I think if we really put another guy in the roster spot that we actually expect to contribute, there's not going to be any way that they get any minutes. So
Yeah.
I say we leave the roster spot open to be a third team and some other trades that maybe come up that we can facilitate, even if we get in on the we missed the boat, so to speak, earlier on the Steven Adams trade
Or Clint Capella.
or the Clint Capella trade. There we go, that one as well. So if we can get in on this Russell Westbrook thing that apparently has to go down, I think it's good to keep the roster spot open and that little bit of money to facilitate something like that.
And Corey Brewer, I liked him last year. If they signed him to a minimum deal, I'd be like ecstatic. I loved him last year.
Totally. If he wants to kind of be like, that vet in the locker room that encourages guys, and then if someone does get hurt or something, we call him. But Corey Brewer is always going to be ready to go. I love the tenacity that he gave us last year and how he was just getting after the ball. I agree with you, bro.
Yeah. So Troy Williams, I don't know if we'll ever see him again on the Kings, but I mean, he had games where he was like shooting deep threes. I don't want to talk too much about Troy Williams, but I just really liked him last year. I don't know if it was just me or.
Hey, he was doing everything. He was showing athleticism and finishing. He was slashing to the hoop. He was
hustling.
He was shooting threes. Dude, all that crazy defense he was playing. He's long and lanky.
Yeah.
Man, it was just fun to watch him just get out there and just kind of scrap with everybody.
So, yeah, exactly. So that's basically in terms of the roster spot. I mean, I probably would lean towards leaving it open too, just because I don't think it's really necessary that we have to get somebody there. Just quickly to talk about just the NBA in general, like the Lakers, they immediately just like signed as soon as Kawhi went to the Clippers. They just signed like everybody they could. It's like, okay, and then now all of a sudden Westbrook's going to get traded probably. Right. Maybe Steven Adams gets traded. I don't know. It's like, okay, well, I mean, I guess because you can't trade someone after for 90 days after you sign them, right?
Yeah, there's a time period where they cannot be traded within that time.
So the Lakers just like have all these people they can't trade now, which they had nobody at all before. So I guess it is what it is. But it just seems weird that you wouldn't at least try to leave. Like I want us to leave things open, is what I'm saying. Is other teams seem like as soon as July 1st hits, they just want to sign as many people as possible. It's like it's like it's like something you do in 2K where it's like, oh yeah, let's just go ahead and let's just build this whole team during the summer and just simulate it and win all the games. It's like that's not how it works in real life. That's how it works in a video game. But in real life, things are fluid. You need to keep things open. And
exactly.
If they keep the open roster spot, I'm fine with it. And Vanya, if they give it to Vanya, I'm fine with it too.
Oh heck yeah. No, if Vanya gets it, that's cool. I want to see him get the two-way. But no, man, you're right. I think in free agency, it seems like there was pretty much two types of teams. There's the teams that realistically had a shot at Kawhi, and all of them were kind of forced to wait. And the Lakers kind of happened to be the least complete team because Lou Will was already set. Montrez is already, they handled that. Jerry West made sure that he already knew the guys that he wanted to bring back. And then the only person that he really needed to bring in was Kawhi up until Kawhi was like, well, if you want me, you need to get Paul George too. So there was two types of teams. There was teams that knew they had no chance of getting Kawhi, and those were all the teams that went and got the guys that they could, that they knew they had a chance at getting. They locked those up like us. And then there was the Lakers and, the Clippers and the Raptors, and it seemed like what's his name was trying to get in on it, but got told no early. Danny Ainge, I think he got told no early. So the Lakers had the least completed roster. So that way, once Kawhi said he's not coming there, they kind of like, not that I agree with how they did it, but I understand that they're like, okay, well, we at least gotta tell Bron what he is getting. But this is also why I'm not a fan of Bron, and why when you get in the Bron sweepstakes or the Rich Paul sweepstakes where you got two of his major clients, AD and Bron down there, this is the stuff that you deal with. You got strapped, you got strong-armed, and then you were waiting for one more, and not only did the guy not come, but now you don't have that max roster spot anymore. So it's funny how fast the Lakers went from like, oh, they're projected to win it all to like, oh, now the Clippers are.
Yeah. And guess what? As soon as LeBron's son gets drafted, he's going to force himself out and go wherever his son gets drafted and play with him for a year.
Yep. Everybody knows it.
And and the Lakers are going to be left high and dry once again. Now,
Yep.
honestly, I feel like the Lakers, once LeBron leaves, I don't think people want to play with LeBron. So I think once LeBron leaves and they have just Anthony Davis and a bunch of cap space, they might actually be not that like it might actually be good for them. They might actually
Yeah.
be able to get people to sign.
Yeah.
I just don't think people want to play with LeBron. That's what it is. And so I mean they might not be totally in trouble when LeBron leaves,
Mm.
but I mean if you just look at since 2010, 42 different trades have occurred with LeBron James on the roster. There was 11 trades with LeBron on the Heat. When LeBron was on the Cavs, there was 27 trades, and this was as of June 16th. There was 4 trades with him on the Lakers.
Oh my
I have it right here.
gosh.
40 since 2000 since June 2000 July 2010, 42 trades have gone on LeBron's teams. And you wonder why
There,
nobody wants to play with him.
facts, bro.
So anyways, not to make this Laker hating hour, but there'll definitely be some Laker hating on this podcast.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get it in. Yes, we are.
All
But yeah,
right.
man, Troy
well,
Williams, good luck to him, man. Wherever he ends up, he's a scrappy baller. I just hope he keeps working on his game, and I hope he, gets a little spot on maybe like the Pistons bench or something like that.
yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, I think that's about it. I don't want to keep you too long. I know you have dinner to go make, so.
Yep, got to go make some dinner. But hey, we knocked out the first one, man. This is pretty much what what California Classic looked like, and the state of the Kings affairs after free agency. My closing thoughts: Rashawn Holmes, Aaron Brewski, who I kind of got into it a little bit on Twitter.
Did you win?
Huh?
When did that happen?
This was, if not last week, week before last.
I got to go to your tweets and replies right now.
Yeah, go check it out.
We talk about it.
Me and Aaron Brewski is going back and forth. Aaron Brewski said that if we get Rashawn Holmes, we're going to be 4th seed in the West, and if we don't, we might not make the playoffs. And he gave us a C+ on our free agency grading. Before we signed Rashawn Holmes, and then after we signed Rashawn Holmes, he put up this crazy gif. This is ridiculous. But anyway, that's Aaron Brewski with hoopball.com. You go there and you could check out all his wacky kooky ideas. No disrespect to the man personally. I'm just talking about his hoop takes.
Yeah.
Him and his hoop takes, they're pretty wild. But anyway.
Yeah, he's pretty negative about anything Kings. He just hates it. Everything.
Which is so right. And so in the times that he was positive with them, that's when I was really listening to the Cowbell Kingdom podcast when James Ham had taken it over, and whenever he was positive, I was like, oh wow, a positive thing from Brewski, I'm down with this. And he said the Kings are going to win so many games, so many years in a row, and he was so far off, and he was like, take your money to Vegas, put all your money down. And I was like, wow, he's really doubling down. And dude, after 3 years, or it was at least 2 seasons, but I think it was like 3 seasons of him getting it completely wrong, I was like, I've learned my lesson. Do the opposite of what Aaron Brewski says, and that's probably going to get you success.
Yeah.
But anyway, we got Rashawn Holmes. He's going to be a rebounder and defender. I'm happy to have him. We didn't need him, but it's good to have him. Dwayne Dedman is the perfect kind of, I don't need to play a lot of minutes, but I can do anything you need a big man to do, including slice the floor type thing.
Yep, exactly.
I'm with that. So he's a great replacement for a Bogey. I like the idea of going ahead and putting Bagley in the starting lineup. I like Nemanja coming off the bench. Corey Joseph, a responsible defensive ball handler. I wanted Pat Bev. Pat Bev used us for bargaining. Vlade doesn't like that. So he got scratched off the list. And then I was like, well, what defensive point guard, responsible ball handler are we going to get now? And we signed Corey Joseph. And I was like, that's literally like the only thing that's as good as, if not better than Pat Bev, because he's got a ring.
Exactly.
So man, and then who signed up?
I woke up for work that day and I opened up my phone. I saw Corey Joseph. I was like, there was rumors, but
right.
That's the life of a Kings fan. You get excited when you sign Corey Joseph, but he's good. I'm not saying he's not good.
Right.
But,
no, it's true. But it's like he's a backup point guard. All he has to do is defend, get the balls to guys in their spot. Get the ball to Bogey in his spots, get the ball, Trevor Ariza in his spots. It's good, and that's the good thing about our thing. It's like we have our guys, and we know who our guys are, and we save money for them to extend them and max them out and all that stuff. And we got the perfect complementary pieces. We were leading the league. We were like top in offense and top in pace last year for so much, but we were bottom in defense. And then we got Harrison Barnes, and we got what's his name, Corey Brewer, and then we went up. I think we were like 26th in defense, and then I saw us get up into like the 17, 18 slot.
Yeah, we went up in defense, but our pace slowed some.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's a matter of just guys getting acclimated to the system and whatnot. And then also teams started figuring us out, so they started fouling us earlier during fast breaks and stuff like that. But it's totally fine. We plugged the main thing. We were scoring a bunch of points, but we were giving up a bunch. And now that we added a bunch of defense, that's going to offset. So
exactly.
We're exactly where we need to be. I'm happy with all the moves that we made. We even fortified our front office, got Brandon Williams out of there, Joe Dumars as an additional person. We're set. We're a functioning organization now. I see us winning over 40 games. Will it be enough for the playoffs? We'll see. But hats off to the Kings for just being a normal functioning organization that's building through the draft.
Hey, it's nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
After 15 years of nonsense.
Yeah, just to be a normal NBA team. Not even be a playoff team, not even be good, just to be normal.
Yeah.
What about you, Tap? What's your takeaways from Summer League and FA?
Well, Summer League, I mean, like I said, Kyle Guy, I think has the most potential. Well, I don't know. Gabriel and Kyle Guy, to me, have a lot of potential. I think Kyle Guy, just because he's so good at that one skill, which is shooting, he probably has the most potential to make a roster, even if it's not the Kings.
Right.
Gabriel, I think, can do a lot of little things. Like he's, like I said, good 3-and-D, good all that. But it just he has to put it together. Overall, though, I mean, I'm excited. I really like Vanya. We didn't talk about him much. We talked about him a little bit, I guess. But I like Vanya. I mean, I'm excited with our second round picks. Justin James seems like he might be the biggest disappointment, but I mean, depends how much stock you're putting into him. If you're not expecting much,
right,
then you're not gonna be very disappointed. But for agency, I'm happy with everything. I mean, a little bit, Corey Joseph for $12 million seems like a lot now for a backup. Considering, I mean, what's De'Aaron Fox making, like $8 million, and he's like,
yeah, pretty.
But
pretty
I mean,
much.
that's just because of his rookie contract. But I mean,
yeah.
And 3 years from now, the cap's going to go up so much. Corey Joseph at $12 million is going to be like the equivalent of like making like $7 million now.
Exactly.
So,
and people forget, another thing, you have to spend the money or redistribute it even more through your players. And when you're a small market team, you're gonna overpay, but it's a whole nother thing to make sure that, it's team options. So much money is guaranteed. Like when you have to overpay, it's important to do those other things like, okay, it's only partially guaranteed or only the first year, the first 2 years. And we did all those things. So even though we overpaid, we're not strapped and married to these people. So again, smart GMing.
And one thing I can't stand is the Harrison Barnes hate. Like I saw some basketball account I follow on Twitter. They're like, who had the most or who had the worst contract for agency? And like a lot of people were saying Harrison Barnes. I'm like, man, you people don't get it. Like these random fans of other teams, they don't understand what it's like to be a Kings fan and what it's like to be the Kings and the fact that we can't get anybody. We've never been able to sign anybody ever. Right. And Harrison Barnes, whether you like him, whether he's not Kevin Durant, he'll never be Kevin Durant, but he's not Joe Blow off the street either.
Yeah, exactly.
He's the size we need. He's the height we need, the weight we need. He has the skill set, albeit maybe just an average skill set, a little bit above average. It's everything that we need. It's the perfect fit, and it's like the same people that would make fun of us for overpaying Harrison Barnes are the same people that would make fun of us if we got nobody.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why it doesn't really bug me too much because if you look at the facts, if you look at what he brings, what he shot from three, especially before he slumped, like right before we got him, his body, his wingspan, what he brings, and just the fact that just getting him and a little bit of Corey Brewer literally moved us up like 5 notches, 5 to 8 notches on the defensive staff. That's totally fine. But another thing is like people look at money as the cap goes up every year. The cap is kind of going up faster than maybe some of the talent of some people. So they're like, oh
Mm-hmm.
my gosh, they just see all that money and be like, you overpaid. But
Yeah.
we're not strapped. It's front loaded too, so the money continually falls off the books, so we can come up. And not only that, but he wanted to be here. And when you got guys that want to be there, you make the deal happen, especially if it doesn't put you in a hole. Here's the thing: I would ask them this: how exactly did signing Harrison Barnes hurt us? How did it hurt us?
It's going to help us. And like the only thing with Harrison Barnes is that I feel like because he's not a dynamic scorer, he's not going to get you like 35-foot Kevin Durant three point shots. He's not going to hit you with a little hesitation move mid-range jumper for the game winner. He's not going to, so it might put a ceiling on the offense a little bit, but I mean, not really. He can shoot the three. That's all you need to do.
Right. And remember, but like when because not to mention he has ring DNA. He's got a ring, so you put that on the resume too. But remember, he went from being a system player in Golden State to when he couldn't work out the deal in Golden State and he went to Dallas and they maxed him. He worked on his isolation game. Remember, he turned into an ISO player. That's how he was able to score over 20. So he can get you an ISO bucket. But guess what? Harrison Barnes is only our third option, maybe maybe even the fourth option.
I put him at fourth.
Yeah, we got freaking De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, and Marvin Bagley lined up to get buckets before Harrison Barnes. So again, he's slotted perfectly for scoring. He's slotted perfectly for defending. It's almost a perfect deal.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
He knows what it's like to be a role player. He knows what it's like to be the only guy on the Mavericks that has to drop 20 a night.
Right.
So he can do either or. I don't know.
What trips me out is I wanted Luka so bad, and just to find out that the fact that Luka not coming here actually helped us because we got their other small forward instead, and we needed a small forward. I don't understand how it could have worked out any better. So anybody who thinks we took a L for getting Harrison Barnes, look at all the things and then come back and talk to us, and I think we'll be singing a different tune.
Exactly, 100%. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for this episode, the first episode of the Sactown Breakdown podcast. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, give it a like. Leave your comments down below. We said a lot of stuff here, so give your comments what you think about it and subscribe. We're going to be doing podcasts. I don't know how often we're going to be doing them. It's probably just going to be kind of sporadic and random until the season starts. Then maybe we'll get more of a schedule. Until then, we'll just have little videos here and there, just me or him talking, or both of us. Because he's going to have access to the channel himself now. So it's going to be me and him. It's 100% or 50-50 thing. Yeah. What was I going to say? In terms of in the future, we're going to try to break down all 82 games next year. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I mean, there's two guys doing it, so I can fill in for him. He can fill in for me. Some of them, I'm sure we'll both be doing it. And what podcast app did you say this was going to be put on?
It'll be through Podbean, and then within the next 2 weeks, definitely before the season starts, you'll be able to find it in the Google Play Store and Apple Podcasts, and we'll try to do Spotify and all that stuff. But for right now, just look at Podbean, or you can just go to Tap's Twitter, or you can go to mine. We'll probably make a Sactown Breakdown one, and then you'll be able to find the link there. And of course, you can always find us on YouTube on the channel.
Yeah. So do you want to plug any of your channels or Twitter or anything?
Yeah. At Skipintosh is my name, so you can find me on Twitter. Obviously, Instagram I don't use too much, but you can find me on there, and especially on Twitch. I'm mostly active on Twitch, so you can find me playing 2K. Tap is more of a my team guy. I'm more of a my career guy, but I think you'll see us crossing over on both sides. So check me out on my Twitch mostly, and you'll see me there. You'll probably see Tap show up too. And
that's all Skipintosh? The old name Skipintosh?
All Skipintosh, keeping it simple.
All right, and I'm Tap2K43 on Twitter, and I'm Tap2K on YouTube. I have another YouTube channel where I do 2K, so that's what I got. That's what he got. If you guys enjoyed the podcast, thank you guys so much for watching and or listening, and we'll talk to you guys in the next one.